Hey guys, we are back with a third session of backtesting and data collection to see what 100 trades looks like for my system. So far we have, how many trades? 8 trades, and we are up 14 RR, really? That's crazy. But yeah, so far things are looking good. We have several -1s, a couple break-evens, and a couple larger wins. And so let's see what today brings. I'm looking at the screener. I'm gonna refresh it and just pick BFLY. Sure, I'll pick that. So how I backtest is I go on the ticker and then I shrink everything as small as I can. Looks like this is fairly new. Oh no, sorry. Why is that showing already? Is something sketchy about this? Hang on. I feel like it shouldn't be that easy to have seen all that. I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. Okay, so I go on my entry time frame, shrink the screen so that I don't see anything, and then go back in time as far as I can go on the lowest time frame that I'm gonna need. Bam. All right, go to my weekly and see what's going on, where we're at. I have my trading rules right in front of me, and so I'll be following them and talking about them as I explain what I'm doing. So far we are just in a clear downtrend. So what I would be looking for is a clear accumulation or demand validation with a clear gap up, or like a large candle or string of candles going up through the 50 MA and then pulling back to a 10 or 20 MA. Oh. Well, that's a mess. I wonder what happened on that day. Someone might say that this is valid to look for, or actually it wouldn't be, 'cause there's really no demand validation. But I was gonna say that sometimes when you get the big candle and then a pullback to a 10 or 20 and you're not necessarily up through the 50 MA, a rule that I explained in a previous video is that if it's just below the 50 with that 50 going sideways, that isn't another exception. That's an exception to the rule of needing price to go up through the 50. But there's no sign of demand validation, so not even gonna look at that. Okay, it looks like the stage 1 is kind of looking like this right now. So I'm not going to look for anything unless we surpass above that area. Okay. If I get I'm not going to go down to a lower time frame until we get that. A touch at the 10 or 20. And in my last video, I explained that I'm picky about it, but I'm not so picky. Like if it's that close, it's my exception. Like I'll be okay with that. But if it's not even close at all, then And I do like the fact that it is at least 2 candles big, because the size of the moves that I look for in the weekly are on average about 2 to 3 candles of a pullback. Sometimes 4, sometimes 5, but 2 to 3 is like my sweet spot. We probably got the touch now on the MAs. Yep, we did. So now we accumulate, give a clear accumulation and a MMB1 on the validation time frame. I forgot to label this as MMB1 on the context time frame. Likely, hopefully it'll go a little deeper, because that'll be what I'm more used to seeing. There's no possibility of an entry right here. We'd have to go a little deeper. Just like that. Okay. Oh no, never mind. I was gonna say I missed an entry. So there, my entry is a double MB entry. Usually not on a MMB1 of a entry time frame, usually just a double MB where the MB would be kind of like right here instead of right there. But because when it's a small little candle like that for the second candle to enter off of, price usually in my experience accepts you. It'll hang on, sorry, it will go and then it'll just stop you out and then it'll do whatever and then it'll go. So I will not take that. If it goes without me, that's fine, but just per my rules, I'd rather see another little flush. Oh, what did I say? You would get tapped in right there and then you'd be tapped out. Boom. That's just what I've experienced. That's just what happens. Still MMB1 on the validation time frame. We do have a setup right here. That's kind of large of a, that's pretty large of a trade to me. I'm not used to seeing a trade that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 5 or whatever, so many candles long to get to the bottom of the second MB. But so hopefully there will be another MB right there so that we could have a double MB right here entry. Hopefully. Oh, okay. Or just cancel the whole thing. Okay. Now we're probably a little deep on the daily time frame, so let's see what's going on. No, not too bad. Like technically I could wait for price to go up and then pull back and then go and find an entry somewhere right here in this pullback, but we'll see. If there's something super clean, I'll look to take it. All right, I'm gonna take it. My entry would be right there. What is it? 8:30 a.m. Friday, September 3rd, 2021. Let's see what we got. Double MB. -1. Oh, wait, I didn't make it look good. Now, this area still does have potential for another entry on this MMB one. Since it is rather large, it might go up, pull back, and then go, like I said. So I'm gonna watch out for that. Beautiful area that we're in right now. Okay, moving on to the next trades. I'm gonna get this out of the way, and it looks like we are pulling back again to a 10 or 20 right there, and so I'm willing to go down to my validation time frame again. I do want to make note that we are in this kind of range because of these crazy candles right here, so it's just something to be aware of. The price action right here looks perfectly fine, but I am still keeping my just noticing that this is here, and if price starts looking ugly, then there's a reason for it, because we are still kind of in that range. So back on the validation, we're looking for a flush, which we get, and then now we're going to look for a rise up. That could have been a valid MMB1. It's probably not something I would go down a time frame to look at, but we can see what's going on. I would not have gotten an entry there anyway. To me, it's just a little too small. I feel like I wouldn't have found an entry with that size of a pullback. And it looks like that was just the only MMB1 that we had. I don't enter on 2, 3, or 4. It's just part of my rules right now that I explained in the previous videos, but there's no entry on this one, so that's fine. I'm gonna delete that to get rid out of the way and look for MMB2. There it is. I don't know if it's gonna go any deeper. It looks like we missed it. Now looking back, I see that it was close enough to the 10 or 20 to look for an entry, but to look at the validation time frame, but it's just something I missed. Over here, price action looks kind of ugly anyway, so I would not have looked for an entry, but you see there is an entry right here, but it gapped up, so there would have actually been no entry, so nothing lost over here. All good. Okay. Sorry, that was supposed to be a number 2. The fact that it is pulling back makes me want to go down to the validation time frame, but it's also kind of concerning that it made an MMB2 and did not deliver fully. It kind of fell down, so now it's looking kind of weak to me. Validation, not clear. Okay, so we're looking for a rise up to the and then a pull back to the 10 and 20. That can be a valid place to look. This can be MMB1 on the validation time frame, and this could be the flush that we're looking for, but to me it's a little too large, so I would rather wait for an accumulation, a rise up, and then a pullback. But this is perfectly fine to look for an entry. We could even see if there's anything here, but even if there is, I would not track it, because it's not the size of trades that I'm used to looking at. Now, the fact that instead of looking for a entry somewhere over here, the fact that sorry, I live on a busy street and the cars are kind of crazy sometimes. Now that it made another flush, we're not looking at this flush and a rise up and pullback. We're actually looking at this flush and a rise up and pullback. Now I am willing to look for a trade. So let's see if we get any. That looks good. Typically I'd rather want to see it pull back right there and then look for an entry to go, so it is like above where I'm normally used to looking, but we could see how clean things look on the entry. The entry looks fine. I'm willing to take it if it taps me in. Still fine. Tapped in. Let's see what happens. I go 1 to 5. Tapped out. That's okay. If we would have, that's fine. I'm not gonna explain it. I'm just gonna keep trying to get this done. Now that I'm looking at it, this is not really, I would have wanted it to go up and then pull back. I think it's kind of a poor looking trade in my opinion. So I think I could have I could have avoided this one, but it's okay. I'm sure there will be times where I accidentally enter, so it's good that I am making some mistakes now because that'll factor into my data. It'll factor into my 100 trades that some mistakes will be taken. 10:30 January 13th, 2022. Even though actually that's not really right that I'm saying that I should factor in mistakes, because this is supposed to be the results of what my plan actually performs like. But I kind of want to reframe that and say this is a collection of data of not what the plan performs like, but what I perform like in my plan. I don't know if that nuance is something that is more true, or if that's something that shouldn't be leaned into, because then that kind of gives you the excuse to be more lenient. But nonetheless, this whole thing does not look good, and I'm being quiet. Oh, it's okay. It was not looking good anyway. Things were not looking good. So it looks like there was a stage 1, and it looks like maybe this could be the new stage, or the first MMB 1 on after this whole reset. And I did not go down in time frame because it did not come to the 10 or 20 MA, which now that I'm looking at it, kind of got close to it, but it's just not as deep as I would have wanted it to be. That looks a lot better to me. Now the fact that it's been kind of weak looking makes me feel like it might not hold up, but there's a chance it might. Back to the wicks. Good, I'm actually glad it's flushing because it was starting to look a little peculiar to me. This does not look bad at all. We have demand validation coming out of a stage after a run down. The only thing I don't like is that it's not really a clear, like beautiful, like strong run up. It ran up for sure, came back, went up but above the MAs, came back to a 10 and 20 beautifully, but it's just not something that I would take because it did not make a run up with the strength and clarity that I'm interested in seeing. And that just comes to prove that strength really makes a difference, because look at that. We didn't get it wasn't looking certain. It wasn't looking as certain as I am used to seeing. That looks a little better right there. We could see what's going on this end. See if there's any opportunity to take an entry. Okay, there's not. Notice how the 50 MA is starting to go sideways. Not anymore. But it was kind of just a signal that, hey, maybe we might shoot up. This looks significantly more certain already than this did. This looks like strength to me. We came back to a 10 or 20. We flushed on the validation. Kind of stuck in this stage 1. Okay. See if we get any opportunity. It tapped in. Hang on, sorry. I was moving kind of fast. I would say, I'm gonna say this is the double MB, and I am gonna just disregard that tiny little wick that's going below. How that wick is going just below, is it? Maybe not. Maybe it's perfectly in line. I was gonna say even if it is, because look how fast, like it tapped and then it came back up, and that is at 8:30. And normally I don't make excuses like that, but honestly, it doesn't look like it intended to really be another low, you know. So okay. Here's an instance where we actually opened lower than the original set stop loss. $12:30, November 22nd, 2024. $12:30? Yes. So now my question is it minus, if the stop was, I don't really know how I'd calculate this. I'm just gonna say -2 because I don't really know how to calculate that accurately. I didn't label. This would have been MMB1 on the weekly. And it looks like it's coming back for possibly a little more. Maybe it just wasn't ready. All right, we got another flush. Someone could perfectly be fine to go here for an entry. I'm not gonna, too low for me. Again, same thing. No entry, that's okay. Missing trades is part of the game. There's MMB 2-ish. Never mind. Could have gone down to look for a move right here, but chose not to because, I mean, it did gap up, but it just wasn't, the move is just too small. I feel like we're just combing through hairs at this point to look for something, and I don't like doing that. Whenever I find myself combing through hairs to try to see what's going on, it's not a good sign. Ever. MMB1, MMB2. If we get a little deeper, we didn't. That's okay. Oh. I don't know it doesn't know what's going on, so I don't know what's going on. All right, there we are. A quick little session today. We were down 3 RR today, which is all good. We're still up 10 RR on the data collection, and we are, I know it's not 14 because there's a few numbers taken here, so I think it's like 11. Is it 11? Yeah, we have 11 trades so far, and we are up, and so now we have 90 more to go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and see you in the next one.